Hello, 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 everybody. Boom, 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 boom. Time for our Money Monday live. I know we are delayed from our normal start time, but that's all right. That is perfectly fine. So we were delayed, just to not give a disclaimer, but explain. We were delayed because we were finalizing boom, 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 that last food vendor, which we are super ecstatic about. So, registration for the Buy Black Market closed last Friday at capacity, might I add. So, boom, 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 we're going to have a lot of dope Black businesses at this event in every single industry. We are super ecstatic. We found out that we got marriage counselors, we got therapists, we got realtors, we got financial advisors, we got doulas, we have tactical training businesses. We have a dope variety of food businesses. We have a person that's even doing Easter baskets. So in the event you need something for the kiddos for Easter, you can come Saturday and grab the stuff you need for Sunday. It is so many different businesses, guys. Truly amazing. Today, we had to send over the final vendor list to the North Carolina State Fairgrounds. Please don't ask us if we have any more spaces. We do not. And we cannot add any more even if we wanted to. The only thing that allowed for us to get that food vendor in today is the fact that we had already acknowledged the food vendor, but the food vendor we acknowledged did not have the necessary certifications and documents that are clearly listed on the site. So we had to swap them out. And that brings me to tip number one for tonight's Money Monday. You got to read. Reading is probably one of the most fundamental things you can do in business and in life. And we are seeing a lot of our community scapegoat or become very lazy with inattentive about reading because the education system is not really set up to help you thrive. But reading is a fundamental skill you really have to hone in on and pay attention to the details because that's how your wealth is stripped away from you, right? Contracts, them that fine print in contracts will strip more wealth away from you than a bad job. So it is super important to read. And I realize a lot of people, they see the words that are relevant or matter most to them and they disregard everything else. It's like, no, we don't include fluff. There's enough concrete information you need to know for us not to have space fillers and fluff. We ain't trying, this ain't a substitute. Anything we do is not about, this ain't a substitute teacher culture around here. So if we're sharing information with you, we're sharing substance information with you. We're not just giving you busy stuff, or we're not just trying to keep you preoccupied for a while like a substitute teacher is. So it is super important to read anything we send to you because we are truly giving you some information that's going to have a huge impact. So we are pretty ecstatic. We had in 2 weeks, we had over 500 different small Black businesses submit as business vendors for this event. As you know, we definitely did not accept anywhere near that number because we could not. But that speaks volumes about how many Black businesses there are in the community to support on a daily basis. So when you feel like, oh, I just go to Food Line or I just go to Target or I just go to Walmart because there's not a Black brand, it doesn't trust and believe there's a Black brand. We had to turn down beauty supply stores after the facts. We had to turn down turn down suppliers, paint supplier. We had to turn down a lot of really dope businesses because they just came too late, not because they weren't super valuable or beneficial to the community. So trust and believe, we out here and we in every industry and we making waves and we are having huge impact. Do not sleep on the effectiveness of Black business ownership within our community because it is here and it is thriving and we are going to magnify every chance we get. Every single business, product, service provider we are utilizing as a part of this process is a Black owned business. Trust every arena. So we are really ecstatic about that. We will have Miss North Carolina International, Mrs. North Carolina International, paying a visit to do photo ops. We are super ecstatic about that. We'll have this really dope YouTube podcaster they're doing coverage and doing more one-on-one interviews with the business vendors to get that very specific brand awareness out there, which is why we told you as a part of the prep tips, know your two-liner. Be able to describe your business to somebody quick, fast, in a hurry, and allow for them to be sparked to be able to proceed further into that on their own. We'll have a massage therapist on site, an esthetician. We'll have a nail tech on site. We'll have a hair, I think we'll at least have one cosmetologist on site. We'll have a live streaming service on site. Yeah, I'm so pumped. I'm like, I'm I'm hyped now because all the businesses are finalized. We got the layout. Um, so it's really going down. Hey, so I see you guys, but I see you from a distance a little bit. So we are running behind because we literally just had to finalize our last food vendor that had to replace somebody who did not have the necessary documents. And so we gonna make sure y'all eat. We got a Kenyan food truck, we got a taco food truck, we got a soul food truck, and then there's a fourth one. I can't remember what it is. So we're really pumped, and shout out to the squad because our email list of businesses that signed up, they executed. We sent out a email blast earlier. We posted in a few groups, but the final vendor that we had to finalize didn't even come from our post in those random groups. It came from the email list of small businesses that had already expressed interest. They executed and got us another food vendor to make sure y'all eat and make sure y'all eat good. So we are really excited about that as well. So it's Money Monday. Money Mondays, we typically just drop tips, perspective, insight, and advice to help you grow and build economically from wherever you are in life. It's a Money Monday. We're running a little bit late, but we here, we happy, and I'm now very, very content now that I have no more of the hassle of trying to figure something out with hours to spare. So this Money Monday, we're going to be discussing some really important things that we have to have in place, especially in business, because you miss windows of opportunity by not paying attention to the details, by not having a system in place to prioritize. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By not prioritizing, being able to stay in the know, right? I we're not gonna do that. Ain't nobody gonna interrupt this live tonight. We thriving. So some of the things that I strongly recommend, um, if you are a business that finds yourself doing a lot of business via email, like you tell people to email you for quotes, or that's how you initially set up your bookings, things like that. My number one piece of advice to you is, if you know you have correspondence coming via email, you need to have a way for you to stay in the know when those emails come. Me personally, I have all of our business emails are attached to every single phone, right? But on top of that, Thomas, his Bluetooth is attached to his phone. So if I don't see it, it comes straight to his watch in real time. And so that allows for us to know if there are some super time sensitive things. All of our apps, everything that we have a website for, we have an app for. So it allows for us to get those notifications straight mobilely to us, push notifications when it's relevant. We receive a payment, we know we received a payment. We receive certain types of payments, we know it's probably attached to a console or attached to a course. Another thing that's super important is having a way to reach out without having to email every person specifically. So one of the things we notice with doing this buyback market is we do push notifications. A push notification, well, we do let me use the proper terminology. So if you're looking for it, you'll understand what I'm saying. We do broadcasts. What a broadcast allows for you to do, everybody that's on your email list, you can filter them off. You can kind of subcategorize them based on things that you're doing in business with them. So if they signed up for one of our consults, they're subcategorized. If they signed up for the Buy Black Market, they're subcategorized. If they signed up for one of our courses, they're subcategorized. And sometimes they'll overlap. If they filled out the form for the directory, the Green Book initiative we're working on, they're subcategorized. And so here's the awesome part about that. When it's very specific stuff, we can fine tune it. Like we have the people who actually finalize themselves as vendors subcategorized from the people who just filled out the Buy Black Market interest form, right? So instead of us having to go in and manually search and type in the email address of every single person that finalized as the vendor, we can just literally subcategorize it, do a push notification, we send it to all of you. Now, because people are not used to broadcasting emails, they're used to having to do them manually. A lot of people disregard the second half of the email that says, if this isn't applicable to you, ignore it, because they assume we're talking exclusively to them. And the awesome thing about this broadcast is we have it set up in a way where it says your name. So the email comes to you as a broadcaster, but it's personalized with your name. So you think it was exclusively only sent to you. Meanwhile, it was sent to 500 people. It was sent to 1,000 people. It was sent to 2,000 people simultaneously, and it was done within seconds. And we could schedule it out, or we could do it immediately if needed immediately, right? So typically, we didn't do it this week because we were kind of chicken with our head cut off because of this food vendor replacement having to be done at the last minute. But typically, what we do is we set up a broadcast to go out between 11 and 12 noon to tell people about the live that night, right? Because we do this live on Facebook, we do this live on Instagram, we do this live on Melanated People Social, we do this live on YouTube. So we have 4 different groups where they're subscribed to us on one, and they may or may not see a notification. Like Instagram, you're not going to see the notification unless you're logged in and it pops up on your screen, right? Majority of them won't tell. Instagram will definitely not tell you if you're not opted into live notifications for our page. YouTube, it depends. Most times YouTube does it, but it depends on how they're feeling. And it depends on how many people you follow. Facebook, I'm not really sure. I seldom see notifications on Facebook about anybody going live. Melanated People, it has a trickle. It has a trickle effect, but it goes through the whole system. It just has a delay, but it notifies everybody on the platform depending on how you go live, like to see for friends to see it or for the public to see it. So those become things that become really beneficial, because sometimes we drop gems for free, like the types of stuff we share in these lives. I'm gonna tell y'all, we spent thousands of dollars to learn the information we know, to implement the strategies we implement, to make the moves that we make, and not just for ourselves. This isn't a bragging rights moment. This is a learn, implement, execute situation. This event is running us over $15,000-$20,000 to put on. Up front, we had to be able to put up $15K. Most people can't even afford to put up $100K. If you look through the comments of that, and this isn't a shot either, but if you even just look through the comments of the ads, specifically on Facebook, because Instagram wasn't really feeding into our ads like that, but Facebook, we had hundreds and hundreds of people feeding into our ads. And you start to look through those comments, you see Black business owners cringing about $100 fee. Not even being able to process the fact that your proximity is the most powerful thing in business. It's not what you know all the time. It's not how much you got all the time. Sometimes it's just about being in the right room. You can become a millionaire overnight, just being in the right environment. So they flinched about, or they said something about the $100 cost, base vendor fee cost, not realize you're in a room with easily 400 potential customers just between the other businesses, not including who else is going to enter the room. So if you don't have the capacity to be able to know how to make strategic moves with $100, the moment you see something that says 5 figures as a down payment before you see any return on that, you're gonna seize up. You're never gonna be able to seize those moments and elevate to the next level. You get what I'm saying? So the types of things that we share on these lives is to try to get more like minds implemented, executed, and thriving alongside of us, because it avails for us to make way more progress way quicker. Like, yes, I'm fine sharing off of my plate, but I promise you, it's way better to be able to choose what meal you want than it is for me to share the luxury and the benefits of and the fruits of my labor, because we might not have the same taste. I like crabs and I like steak and ribs. you might rock with a whole different set of things. So it's important to put yourself in a position where you have the freedom to choose what your day to day looks like, what your reality looks like, what type of impact you can make, which you can magnify. Um, and that's really what we are trying to do super proactively in all that we're doing, you know. So number one thing is, if you are a business that does anything that involves consults, that involves getting quotes, that involves booking appointments, you need to have a database in place. It's super easy to get a lead generation database in place. Thank you. A lead generation database is super easy to get. It's a lot of free ones. I encourage people to get the free ones, because once you start to see the effectiveness, when the price comes down the line for continuous use, maybe a couple of years or a couple of months out, you're going to be unfazed, because you see how much value it adds back to your life, how much value it adds back to your day, how much time it gives you back. We spent 2 hours. How long? We spent like 2-3 hours at T-Mobile today, right, Thomas? We spent hours in the middle of us needing to find a food vendor. I literally stopped because I had did the work already. We posted in a couple of groups. I sent out the email blast. I said, I'm not calling nobody else. I want to say we called maybe 5 food businesses. A couple of them went to voicemail. One of them answered and was like, 2 of them answered, said, we'll get back to you. I said, all right, I'm not calling nobody else. Let's go do what we need to do. We went to T-Mobile. We were in T-Mobile for 3 hours. We came back to a food vendor finalized. Now, if we didn't have the right systems in place, I would have been on the phone all day. I would have been having to text people, send emails to people one by one, responding to every email. You know what I'm saying? Instead, I had the ability to reclaim that time to prioritize something else that we had been just kind of pushing off. So it's important to get a system in place. And there are a lot of free ways to do this. It's one of our lives. We've already shared it. So it's not really something that you have to like deep dive for, but I believe we shared it maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago on our Monday live, where you can use a system like ConvertKit. It's completely free. If you sign up, I believe we put our link on one of those, where you sign up with it, it'll give you like 1,100 subscribers for free, right? So that's 1,100 people that you can pull into a space. You can reach out to them. If they signed up, they clearly have an interest, or they care, or they have a desire to kind of at least stay in the know to some extent about what your business offers, what you offers, options, something triggered them to fill out the information. People are lazy. They don't just fill out stuff for no reason. Secondly, the second thing is that Reggie. Hey, Reggie. Yeah, Reggie was the like final. He was technically the final vendor, but we're not going to discuss how he got in. But yeah, he was one of the final vendors. I think you did it. You already did it, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, Reggie is dope. I believe he's a vegan. He does something related to veganism. I want to say herbs, groceries and herbs. I apologize. I remember now. Groceries and herbs, which I'm really ecstatic about, because we actually need to re-up on some stuff. So ConvertKit, right? You'll sign up for that. That'll allow for you to not just have a lead generation, but that'll also allow for you to have a website. A lot of y'all, we was searching your social media like crazy just to find contact information. So get you a website. You don't have to have a formal website. We say this all the time. Get you a landing page. When you see how easy it is, you're going to be upset that you haven't had it all this time. If you own a domain name like getthebag.com, or you have one for email purposes, you can pull that domain in literally in 5 minutes. And you can have an official website where you have your contact information on it, where people can reach out to you in a timely manner, where you have the ability to now put blast out. So if you're the type of person that exclusively, we came across a couple of people that exclusively does vendor like opportunity and pop-ups. This is a super easy way for you to let people know exactly where you are. Create a whole brand about come see us here, and people will either open it or they won't. But if they do, and sometimes you could be like, come see us here, or check out our site and here's a discount or blah blah blah. So it's so many ways to use it, and it's going to be super important if you're going to take business credit seriously. I was talking to a girl at the Black Flea Market yesterday, and she had a really dope line, but I can't remember what triggered it. But "Oh, I said people are looking for what you have." She said, "Yeah, I just can't get my name out there enough." I said, "You might need to just run targeted ads. If you already know your targeted demographic stuff, run targeted." She was like, "Yeah, but ads are so expensive." I said, "You're not phased by ads if you're using other people's money to pay for them." What do I mean by other people's money? I mean credit. Credit is king. Cash is not king. You do not spend from your bank account to fund your business, your ideas, your goals, not period. Your cash in that bank account is your safety blanket money. If all hell breaks loose, everything goes south, you just got to take the money and run. That's the money you should have on reserve for that. Use credit. You let other people's money, the bank's money, be put on the line to pursue your dreams. Because worst case scenario, it's super easy to fix it. Well, worst case scenario, it'll all go away in 7 years, like it never happened, and you'll get a fresh start. Or best case scenario, even if it doesn't work out, you can dispute it all off and get a clean slate. So either way, you now have the freedom to pursue stuff without all of the instability of spending your last dime instead of trading all this time for money just to now try to spend this money in hopes to grow more. No, spend other people's money. We easily spent $11,000 on ads for this event. Truthfully, that's the complete truth. Within like a week and a half span, we spent like $11,000 on ads to reach our targeted demographic because we knew we needed to reach tens of thousands of people and make them aware of something in a very short time restraint, because that was the time restraint we were given. But we understood how impactful this would be. We understood how many opportunities this would avail and how many businesses would be impacted by this. So we weren't phased by it. We leveraged other people's money. If we spent that $11,000 and not a single soul signed up, we would still be okay. My savings is still fine. My emergency fund is still fine. The money in my checking account is still fine. Granted, I don't spend credit just to run the risk of losing it. I was very informed. I was very educated. We spent hours, and by hours, I mean weeks, in a super aggressive, intensive ad targeting curriculum to learn how to do it effectively. So as soon as our ad activated, hundreds of people, we were getting notifications within like 5-10 minutes. People tagging their friends in the comments of our ads, people sharing our ads, people in our inbox or emailing us or calling us, "How do I become a vendor? What do I need to do?" Mind you, all of the answers to those questions were right there if they just read, which goes back to the first point. Read. We got to read. Like, don't be so inclined to read the gossip and the drama and people's problems and this Derek Jackson thing, but not read the things that add value to your life. You want to grow your business, you got to be ready. You have to be ready to go all into paying attention, being very focused and learning what you need to learn and focusing on the details, because that's how you get robbed. That is how you get robbed in business. You don't have anybody kind of micromanaging or looking out for the little guy. You're the big guy. You have to take the lead. So you have to read. You have to become an avid reader. You have to be receptive of constantly learning. Industry trends change, right? In the middle of us learning about advertising, like deep dive into learning about advertising, a huge Facebook Apple war broke out. And Apple is changing the complete, and Thomas, now that I think about it, I don't want you to get the Apple phone. Apple is changing the complete way that they handle their database when it comes to you being able to target the demographic that are Apple phone owners. They're putting barriers in place for businesses not to be able to do business with Apple users as easily through Facebook ads and Instagram ads and social media ads just in general, because Apple wants more of that immediate kickback for it. Like, Apple collects like a 30% profit from every sale that's done through like their Apple store and stuff like that. But if Facebook uses the information of Apple users to do that business directly with Apple users through their Apple phone on Facebook, Apple doesn't get a cut of the check. Can you imagine going from 30% to nothing? Like, that's a huge loss in business, especially when half the human population is on Facebook and Instagram. Can you imagine that? Like half, one out of every two people on earth is on Facebook or Instagram. Like, that's reach right there. And Facebook had the ability to strategically target them because they monitor everything. They monitor everything you like, everything you respond to, everything you give any energy to, anything you even just save. Like, I haven't been able to find a wardrobe stylist. So guess what I did? I started saving images of outfits I liked on Instagram, right? So now every time I open up the search feature on Instagram, half of the recommended things for me to look at are outfits now. They're new outfits put together by like social media stylists. So now I'm it's getting to the point where they're fine tuning it so well, right? Because of the information they collect with every single thing you do, every single thing you say around your mobile devices or on your laptop or between devices, that it's fine tuning, understanding your psychographic so effectively that it's like mind blowing. Like, I seen a collection of like 6 different outfits in one image collage, and I was like, I like every single one of them. What in the world? But I understood that they were building a portfolio around the little things that I like, about the little things I was interested in. So 90% of what I see is dope outfits put together by stylists and fitness, right? Because we're always looking for new fitness routine to add. So it's important for you to become very intentional, because at this point, if you start to feed in the certain types of stuff, Facebook is going to keep sending it to you. So you have to pay attention to the details. You got to start reading, and you got to read in detail. Some of them might be beneficial. Some of them might be like, let me hold on. If I hold off on that a little bit, Facebook will send me something, or Instagram will send me something, or one of the targeted algorithms, Google will send me something that aligns more precisely with what I'm looking for. But you got to pay attention to the details, because what you're looking for might be right in front of you. My daughter does that and has a YouTube. Targeted demographic is all of the money you're used to seeing. How many people have been on a highway, like traveled on a highway in the past year, like anywhere in the country? How many people have traveled on highways that typically have a whole lot of billboards? And so I'm asking that because if you're the type of person that notice the billboards, you'll notice a lot less of those billboards are actually have advertising on it these days. Like, it's super easy to find out the contact information for the billboards because the billboards are empty right now. A lot of those billboards are empty. It's like, call blah 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 to get a billboard space, because half of them are empty. And the reason why is because most major corporations have redirected over 80% of their advertising market to social media advertising, because that's where we are all day. And then the Facebook algorithms is collecting every single action you do, every single guilty pleasure you feed into, whether you can silently spectate all you want. Facebook sees how long you are. I can tell how long and what percentage of people watch videos that I post. Like, to the T. I can see who watched it for 5 seconds, who watched it for 3 seconds, who watched it for 25% of it, 50% of it, 75% of it, 90% of it, 95% of it, the whole thing. That's how detailed and specific you're being monitored in everything you do. And so it sounds scary if you've seen Eagle Eye like me, right? Or if you're in business, and that's who we're really trying to reach right now, because Black wealth is dependent on Black ownership. Sustainable Black wealth is built on the backs of Black ownership. So you have to be committed to being a owner. You can't just be committed to having a hustle. You got to get out of hustle mindset, right? So if you're an owner, it benefits you to have somebody able to assess the psychographic of your targeted demographic that specifically. Like, if y'all look at the ads that we were running, We ran ads. We spent thousands of dollars on ads. We hit over 80,000 people in 3 weeks without ads. And how many of y'all seen a whole lot of other races on our ads? How many of y'all seen anybody talking about, oh, all lives matter, or what about us? You didn't, because we were able to be so specific in our targeted demographic that Facebook only was hitting us over and over and over and over again. And then every one of us that it hit, it ended up resulting in us tagging ourselves. So we widened the net because we understood what our like-minded individuals were. We understood what they cared about. And so when I tell you it's beneficial for you in business to have something that tracks stuff that strategically, because it allows for you to be effective without having to be present, but you have to have a system in place. You still have to have the system in place, because imagine if I had all those ads and I was telling y'all to DM me. Imagine us hitting 60,000 people and you had to DM me to figure out how to be a vendor. Bruh, I literally would not have slept the last 3 weeks. We would not have slept. We would not have been able to do our free masterclass Saturday. We would not be able to do our Get Your Life course next week. We would not have been able to go out to the Black flea market and just support some Black businesses yesterday. Wouldn't have been able to spend 3 hours at T-Mobile today while they pussyfooted around finding us to replace a new phone to upgrade to. We wouldn't have had that time. I wouldn't have time to allow for my kid to stay homeschooled instead of going back into the system, because I need somebody to help with the time sacrifice I make. You get what I'm saying? So the systems that we put in place to be able to do the lead generation, to be able to process the payments automatically, to be able to allow for people to sign up and read, right? Nobody that reads had an issue with our registration process. Nobody that reads thoroughly had an issue with our registration process, because it was so much information there that it was an answer to every question before you even knew to ask it. And the reason why that was able to be so effective is because we have automated systems. And that's also why a lot of people have been able to be upset with us now the registration is closed, because we also have automated systems for that. So as soon as our deadline hit, you know what I'm saying? As soon as that deadline hit, you were hit with a roadblock. It was like, thanks, we got your information. We're going to notify you about the next time. We'll see you soon. But you can't come this time as a business vendor. So it's like the automation, it empowers you to do more effectively, quicker, and allows for you to avoid the repetition. Because what you see a lot of people complain about with their customer service portion of their business is the fact that they got to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And they get annoyed. They get annoyed that people reach out to them. They're in their DMs, they're asking questions. And the moment you quote them, or the moment you tell them how much you charge, or you tell them the process to start doing business with you, they walk away. You feel like you wasted all this time having to just go through that process, when all naturally automated. And it's free. It just requires a short-term sacrifice for long-term resorts. We're going to use the exact same system over and over and over again. Every Buy Black Market. Like, it might convert onto another domain name, but the system is already in place. So even our web designer who's working on the secondary site that all of this is probably going to be exported to, she's literally taking the framework we already did our work. So she doesn't have any questions for me. At most, she's reaching out like, hey, we need send us those images. Send us the raw images so we can make sure it doesn't get distorted with saving it and re-uploading it. Everything's in place. And it takes so much of the work off of us. And it allows for us to be able to do more due diligence in other areas. The true wealth is having time. It's having time to be able to feed into what you care about. It's having time to be able to prioritize your passion, right? It's having time to be able to live instead of focusing on fundamental needs that we all have as humans in reality. That's true wealth. But it's a lot of ways to get it. You can work harder, you can work smarter. When we went to the T-Mobile store, I told them we need a new business phone because the business phone started tripping, right? And their number one piece of advice they tried to sell me an iPhone. I said, I don't buy iPhones. I said, I own Apple, but I don't buy iPhones. They was like, why wouldn't you want an iPhone? I said, I make more money from the stock than I make from owning the phone. The phone gives me no return on investment. And at this point, it hinders me more than it helps me, because Apple is about to put systems in place just about to block my ability to find stuff easier. I was looking for food trucks. I started getting recommended food trucks. When we were looking for vendors, I put vendors needed. I typed vendors needed from my personal cell phone one time in a post. And then I started having all these Black business ads show up on my timeline. Apple is trying to block me from being able to do that. So you about to make me have to hire even more people to do the work that I can do just by an algorithm picking up on what I'm already putting down. No. Apple adds value to my life by my portfolio expand. So I love diehard loyal Apple supporters, but I'm not going to own the phone because the phone doesn't add value to my life. You get what I'm saying? So it's really important that we move like that. Seriously. And that's also why one of our tips for all the business vendors, and we require it. You cannot be a business vendor at the Buy Black market if you don't have a merchant account, period. I don't care whose feelings it hurts. I'm perfectly fine with you being offended. You cannot be a vendor at a Buy Black market without a merchant account. That means you have the capacity to invoice. You have the capacity to accept cards, whether it's on the spot um, or via a website link or something like that, because you have to understand how important it is to get a return on investment from every move you make. And people who pay with cash, unless they're buying things of value, true things of value, not just something to eat real quick. I mean, things that multiply the amount of money, whether it's by giving them more time back or giving them more resources at their disposal or giving them more information to be able to implement effectively sooner. Unless it does that, the return on investment does not come from cash transactions. So having people have to transfer money to you or cash out money to you, it does not give the person on the spending side a return on investment. And it doesn't protect them, which are two very important things in business. Remove the liability off yourself, especially if you don't have insurance. Allow for them to be protected by their card provider or their bank or their credit card or whatever. And then secondly, they need to have the ability to do a return investment. So the girl was trying to convince me to get on a payment plan. I said, I don't want a payment plan. We'll pay with our card, because I understood that right now we have like this cash back we low key have a cash back bonus that we can use at T-Mobile stores. So we pay with our card, we get 10% back on something that we already needed, and we're getting it fully deducted on the front end. So we're getting 10% back on the back end, and on the front end, this entire transaction is going to be deducted anyway, including the gas mileage. Including the miles we use to travel to the store. So the return on investment is ample. I don't need your payment. I only need your payment plan if it's a part of a strategy. I focus on payment plans when it works with credit strategies, right? Because on-time payments are 30% of your credit score, your personal credit score impact. Or on-time payments help build your business credit, because business credit isn't based on utilization. It's based on, do you pay things when it's owed? So it needs to give me a return on investment. I don't need to waste this time or to have to now have something that's drawn out. You get what I'm saying? Like it's so much dope stuff. Like all of our lives are very insightful for the most part, except the holiday ones. We try to share free information as much as we can. We really do, because you don't know what you don't know. And Thomas is kind of the quiet type. You got to tell him a problem for him to present you with a solution. But me and my cousin, who is also one of our business partners, we're the type of people, we learn and we're eager to share, because it just adds value to the entire environment. I'd rather eat with you than you be trying to figure out how to steal my plate. And then we can also move. When I move, you can move, because you're in a place with the leverage and the freedom and the resources to execute too. So yeah. But yeah, we're excited. The Black Market countdown is real. I don't know if anybody has looked at a calendar, but it's literally next weekend. It's not this Saturday, it's next Saturday. It's less than 2 weeks away. So I'm really pumped. And thank you. Uh I'm really pumped and I'm excited. Y'all gonna have some good food. Y'all gonna have a lot of great information. We got an 18 and over section. So bring your ID. Don't miss out if you are over 18 on being able to take advantage of those. Um, Fonda, please send me that menu list. I think I sent you 2 emails this week. I think I sent you 2 emails this week about the menu. I mean, maybe at some point over this weekend, because yeah, we're gonna need you. We have a number of food vendors, but we really don't have enough. So the event and experimental marketing arena, we've been in that. I've been in that since 2012. I'm lying, 2013. Um, but we, outside of like CIAA and a few Afro punks, we haven't been able to do a lot for us. So I am ecstatic about this because we're literally making history on North Carolina State Fairgrounds. I don't think y'all realize that, but we really are. This is a blueprint that they're going to use to validate, and I'm going to say to validate why it should have been done and why they should have been taking heed to the fact that they should support small businesses and small Black businesses and just Black businesses in the Black business community completely, because there's so much here. There's so many resources here. There's so much information here. There's so much value here. We the plugged in every area of life. I don't know if y'all realize that, but we really are. And I'm gonna need for you to stand in the authority of your capacity and own that shit. Like seriously, because we are truly an innovator in a lot of ways, and a lot of culture shifts are led and sustained by us, but we don't get credit or get acknowledged as the innovator, right? We get acknowledged as as being a part of the trend. So it's super important for you to realize that this is going to be a very historic moment and experience, and this is going to be one of those times where you no longer have to say I didn't know, or I didn't have, or I wasn't aware. This is going to be one of those where it's like you're getting the keys. You're getting the keys to all of it. Like unlock it. It's time to start unlocking all options that you could possibly imagine. We host more events this year as well. Yes, so we intend to have, if all things go as planned and the dates are available, the intentions are to have one right around back to school, and then the second one specialized. So I believe we have a loan mortgage divider. We also have 2 different financial literacy companies that are going to be there. We don't teach about the PPP loans specifically. That's a little bit outside of our arena, but I'm 99% sure that it's at least one person that's going to be tapped into that, because they deal with mortgage lenders. Ooh, that's real bad. Thomas, I need your help, and I need it fast. The phone's dying. Help me. Please. My phone, I think. Or maybe your phone. It's this one. Plug it in. I see myself, but I see myself real light. Whatever that other thing is, you can unplug that. My bad, y'all. Not that one. Oh, there it is. All right. What up? Oh, I don't know. All right. So pull it all the way over. Pull it over this way. Pull the whole thing over. The whole stand. My technical hiccups. This just tells y'all we are not built for this. Like, yeah, we ain't built. We ain't built. My bad, y'all. Um, so yeah, um, we expect to have one. YouTube was getting a hold of Jim. We expect to have one right around back to school. So like August, the end of August, beginning of September, so that people can prepare to get all this stuff, because a lot of organizations, a lot of Black owned businesses and organizations do huge give backs for back to school for our students. So we want to make sure you can get unrestricted access to those resources and information. Like I know barbershops that do free haircuts for back to school. I know a number of programs that do school supplies and just different resources, to make sure you're prepared to assist your child if they require anything as the school year begins, as well as just help the parents be able to deal with supplementing the education they might require. And then we intend to do one around right around the holidays, right around the end of the holidays, because a lot of our marketing clients, they do huge pushes of campaigns and stuff like that around Black Friday. We want to make sure a lot more. Hey, Coco. We want to make sure a lot more of that money stays within our communities. Like Black Friday is uh, a business revenue generator for a lot. There are a lot of businesses who have a slow season for 2 quarters and they break even or they see their profit as a result of the Black Friday to Christmas holiday shopping period. So we want to make sure our community has the capacity to tap, our business owners have the capacity to tap into that. There were a lot of trillions of dollars made from last holiday season, despite the fact that it was a pandemic and and the supplemental pay and all of that stuff was at a standstill from from July to December. So we're really wanting to make sure that our community taps into that wealth generated opportunity, not just on the working side, but on the actual ownership side as well. So those are the intended two. We intended it'll ultimately fall like 4 months apart. So this one is in April. The next one will be, the goal is for it to be in August, and then the last one to be in December, if everything works out without any hiccups. Soon as they give us a green light to finalize the dates, we're paying for the dates up front, and we'll just release them, a little bit spaced apart. I will tell you, registration is going to close to a month before the next event. We're gonna have registration run for 2 months. So y'all ain't gonna just have 2 weeks, y'all gonna have 2 months to get in, as long as there's still availability. And it's gonna be cut off a month before. So we don't have a situation like this. The day we have to submit the food vendor documents, we literally trying to track somebody down because one of our vendors didn't have it. So we're gonna give us all the grace not to have that headache. And allow our team to buy some other stuff in between in between time. So yeah, if y'all don't have any more questions, I'm pumped. I probably should eat. I just realized I haven't eaten today. Um, it's been a busy day. It's been a very, very busy day. I will tell you now, because a lot of people keep asking, do they get to choose their slots? No, you don't. The vendor layout for this event is going to be super user friendly for everybody attending. There's truly hundreds of business vendors. So to make sure you come in contact with everything you're looking for, or you can kind of get a feel of the different types of businesses and things like that involved. The vendor layout is really dope. So all the artists, service providers, um, artists. What else is it, Thomas? Artists, huh? Huh? Book. So all the artists, books, educational, and service providers are in one section. And then the next section is what, Thomas? The next section is accessory. Are you sure? Maybe. The next section is accessories. And then the next section after that is clothing. Clothing is probably one of the biggest sections, but the awesome part is they are truly different. Like everybody has a distinct brand. And the more you start to feed into stuff like that, the more you realize, yeah, everything what floats your boat is not what floats everybody's boat. So then there's clothing. After clothing, there's beauty. The beauty department is pretty big too. We even have a cosmetic line, as well as a number of other things involved with that I'm excited about. But the cosmetic line is one that has me really pumped because Iman and Sephora was getting a lot of our money, if we being honest. And then it's the grocery section, and the grocery section ends up rolling into the snack, food, and drink vendor section. So it's very strategically done for you to kind of navigate through, get a feel of the options, explore the different types of businesses, even if you don't feel like you need something right now. And this is because we are encouraging all of our small businesses to have lead generations systems in place. They might have a discount program that you can sign up for on the spot. They might have some promotions in the pipeline. They might have incentive for you to feed into. So reach if it's something that even have a remote interest in, take the time to talk to them, engage with them, ask questions, figure out how to stay in touch with them. If I have, where would I be? Um, it depends. It depends on what the thing. It depends on what you had that stood out. So it heavily depends. I know anybody that had refrigerator required items, um, they are ultimately all in the section over there by the food, drink, snacks, and groceries, because groceries and the rest of those overlap in 2 hours. Think grocery stores. Think grocery stores. You know how it's like whole lanes designated to stuff? That's pretty much how the layout of this is. It's like 2 whole lanes with 2 whole aisles, and it's different stuff on both sides of the aisles with all different types of options, but it all falls within that arena or industry. So you have an idea of what you're looking for there. We got graphic designers signed up. I believe we have a photographer signed up. We have artists with paintings, with some really amazing artwork, not just paintings, but other things as well. It's this is going to be so dope. Like, I'm so excited. Now that the hard work is behind us, I think y'all are going to love it. If you have been looking for anything, come ask questions, seek it out. Um, Definitely make sure to take pictures and tag us. We welcome y'all. Y'all can tag us 5 million times a day. We might not reach out to meet us, or might not respond to it immediately. But trust, if we see it, we going make sure to acknowledge it, shout you out. Because we want to drive that awareness to as many businesses as possible, whether you're going to participate as a business vendor this time, or whether you're just a business that needs to have traffic and acknowledgement and awareness brought to you. Like, we are greater than me. We stand by that. That's not just a saying. I've been living that out for close to a decade, unapologetically, and people thought I was crazy when I started. So yeah, if y'all have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out. This is our Monday live. Now the registration is closed. We will probably not be going live again until next Monday, but you can check out our YouTube. We have tons of content there. We have tons of content in our lives on Instagram and Facebook, but apparently they do something weird. So check YouTube. YouTube has always been loyal to us. Shout out to y'all on YouTube tonight. And then if y'all have any questions, DM us, comment, share. We got the event invite out there. Over 900 people have already responded to the event invite. And fun fact, almost none of them are vendors or people who will be working connected to this event. Those are like outright people within the community excited about it. So that's really dope. Make sure to respond to that. Share it with folks. It should be flyers. You might randomly see flyers around. We're excited. I'm really happy. And I love you guys to life. Just passing through. Peace. Definitely. I think we're going to end up doing that. We had a couple of nonprofits reach out that I think will really be able to benefit from that. Let me share this while I am still live, just in case any of you guys are local. Um, As of right now, you can get your CDL license for free. And what's the name of that school, Thomas, where you took your real estate class? Durham Tech is paying you 700 will pay you $750 to go towards free classes or to supplement attending class for free at their school. So it's some programs out here just trying to get y'all right. The most powerful thing you can have is a skill set. Durham Tech offers a real estate license class. Hint, that's one of the ones you can consider using at 750 for. In the event your class doesn't take the whole 750, they'll give you the difference to supplement the things you might need. Um, so funny thing, majority of the flyers are gone. We have what 125 flyers left, and we ordered like I believe like over 2,500 flyers. Majority of the flyers are gone. We put some in a few of the Black businesses that will also be vendors. We mailed some out to a few business vendors that requested it. We've had close to, I want to say, some. While we were at the Black Flea Market, she gave some out there. We got a couple of posters. They're not as Thomas. Can I get one of the posters? Are any of the posters in here? I don't see one. Oh, I lied. It's right here. So we have these posters. These posters are 8 by 5, 8 inches by 5 inches. So they're kind of big. They are only back. So we have a few of these. We have, I think maybe two, just under maybe 150 of these. And so some of these can be posted up random places in school buildings, on like light posts, stuff like that. In the event you want some of these, just let us know and we'll get them to you. But yeah, the flyers, the flyers gone. And we got about 4 people to email flyers to. So once we mail them a few flyers in Greensboro and Winston-Salem, I don't think we don't have any flyers left. And we just got them. What? We just got those flyers Monday, right? Last Monday, last Tuesday. So within a week, all of those flyers are gone. People here, they alert. They ready, y'all. I'm telling y'all, this is our time. A shift is happening. Just accept it and prepare to elevate and say yes, thank you. If you're not religious, I say. If you are religious, amen. Yes, thank you. I say or amen. That changes your life when you're ready to learn, implement, execute. So good night, guys. This live was not supposed to be an hour, especially since we started about 40 minutes late. We love you guys to life. If y'all need anything, we're here. Um, Keep it elevated and mm, mm, I don't know how to use Instagram. Good night, YouTube. Mm, mm. Facebook.